part 70 in our continuation of chapter 18 of Revelation. Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. It is a medieval Catholic cathedral. It was consecrated to the Virgin Mary. It is considered to be one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture. Finest architecture can only be produced by a finest architect. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was born on the 27th of January 1756 in Salzburg, Austria. He is considered among the greatest classical composers of all time. He was raised a Catholic and the church played an important part in his life. He composed more than 60 pieces of sacred music. The majority were composed between 1773 and 1781, when he was employed as court musician to the Prince Archbishop of Salzburg. Research on paper types by Alan Tyson shows that a number of works long thought to have been composed in Salzburg may actually date from Mozart's years in Vienna. As Alan Tyson notes, that would make sense since Mozart was engaged at the time in a successful campaign to be appointed as the successor to Leopold Hoffmann as the Kapellmeister at St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna. A Kapellmeister is a music director in a church. Now, Guglielmo Marconi. He was born on the 25th of April 1874 in Bologna, Italy. He invented the radio. He became a devout Catholic. Vatican Radio, which is the Pope's radio, was officially inaugurated on the 12th of February in 1931, with Pope Pius XI delivering the first ever radio message by Pope. 2 years previously, the Pope had officially commissioned the famous Italian-born radio pioneer Guglielmo Marconi to build a radio station inside the Vatican. It fell to Marconi to give the first message on the new station. He said in Italian, "I have the highest honour of announcing that in only a matter of seconds the Supreme Pontiff Pope Pius XI will inaugurate the radio station of Vatican City State. The electric radio waves will carry to all the world his words of peace and blessing." Then came the Pope. He began his speech at 4:49 p.m. That's nearly 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the 12th of February 1931. The first director of the station was Giuseppe Gianfranceschi. Now here I'd stop to make a personal point. Is there any names in the world more beautiful and more musical than the Italian names? I think it'd be hard to find their equal, let alone they're just pure music, I think.
Me too.
Like the Italian languages too.
Can I just ask you, is Michelangelo of superior to Leonardo, or are they equal, or is Leonardo superior to Michelangelo?
I think we'd classify them as equal, because they were both just exceptional.
Both exceptional.
Yeah, they're absolute. But of course, as regards pure genius, Leonardo was way ahead, because
Yeah.
I think Leonardo was superior.
Superior.
Some say he was the greatest mind that ever walked this earth.
And what do you think?
I think we don't know for certain, we'll say, going back to the time of Abraham and so on, because because we haven't got enough knowledge. But from what we know, I would say that he is easily one of the candidates for the greatest mind that ever walked the earth.
So what was it so special about Michelangelo? It wasn't really his mind, was it? It was his creative...
Well, the painting of course, the Last Judgment and the Sistine Chapel, which I saw, is
commitment.
It is magnificent.
It's magnificent.
I think that these geniuses, they weren't inspired like the prophets were, but they were inspired to do their work, because you cannot explain it on a human level.
No, you can't.
It is, I mean, hundreds of years after their life, their death, the world still is in awe of them,
Yeah.
and has produced nothing to equal them.
No.
So So that, yes, there were exceptional characters.
And you think that they were pawns of the Catholic Church, of the merchants, of...
Well,
they were like
yes,
part of the...
no, I'm not going to stand here and say
No.
that what they did for the Catholic Church was wrong.
No.
I'm not saying that,
No.
because they were sincere and genuinely carrying out their commission and their God-given gifts.
Yes.
In that respect, it wasn't wrong at all.
No.
But of course, from God's point of view, you see, the fact that they were some of the greatest figures that ever walked the earth, that gave all their talents and skill to the Catholic Church, would have enhanced that same church.
Yes.
But unfortunately, of course, it would also have enhanced the false side of the church.
That's what I'm
This
trying
is
to...
the problem.
Yes, this is the problem.
This is the problem.
Thank you, Neil.
Okay. So Giuseppe Gianfranceschi, the Giuliano Marconi, set up a radio link between the Vatican City and the Pope's summer residence in Castel Gandolfo in 1933. That's a town outside Rome where the Popes go for the summer. Now, turning to ordinary traders, Eurystak of Krakow, that's a company that sells religious goods in Poland. They sell chasubles, $2,000. A chasuble is an outer robe which a priest wears at Mass. A chalice for almost $2,000. A chalice is a cup used at Mass to contain the wine. Neo-Gothic chalice, $3,000. Silver chalice, $4,000. Ciborium, $3,800. Serpone of Napoli. A ciborium, by the way, is a cup which contains the sacred bread, and which is often put away in the tabernacle then when those breads are being distributed. Serpone of Napoli, Italy. A chasuble, €847, an alb, 517. The alb is a long white robe which the priest wears at Mass. Cope, €671. A cope is a long outer robe which the priest wears at benediction, which is a ceremony to honour the Blessed Sacrament. This is the name given to communion, which is also called the Blessed Eucharist. Mitre, €947. This is a hat worn by bishop or a cardinal. The Pilgrim Shop, Walsingham, England. A ciborium, £275. A ciborium, like I said, is a cup which holds the communion breads. A monstrance, £999. And this is a container made to hold a large host, which is the name given to the communion bread. These breads are made in two sizes, large and small. The small ones are given out to the people at Mass, and the large one is used by the priest at the central part of the Mass, which is known as the consecration. It is the moment when the priest says, "This is my body, this is my blood." Sometimes the priest consecrates two large hosts. One is put in the monstrance and used at benediction for people to venerate it. eBay monstrance containing original relics of 9 saints and a relic of the True Cross, about the year 1700. That's dating from that year. Price £895. St Paul's Bookshop. This is right beside Westminster Cathedral in London. Statues of Mary and the Child Jesus, £650. Of Jesus, £350. Of St Joseph and the Child Jesus, £510. A cross, £650. A crucifix, £185. A chalice, £550. A ciborium, £350. A monstrous, £1,950. And tourable, that's 1,000. An alb, 160. A bishop's attire, silver chain, £272. Pectoral cross, £300. Crozier, £759. Ring, £350. The pectoral cross is worn by bishop on his breast. It is a small cross held in place by a chain round his neck. And the crozier is a long stick which a bishop holds in his hand. It is meant to represent the shepherd's staff. Catholic gift shop in Malton, North Yorkshire. It advertises a miraculous medal designed by Mary herself, cost £57. It goes on to state, on the evening of the 8th of July 1830, a young nun at her convent in Paris had a vision of Our Lady. The nun's name was Sister Catherine Labora, who later became Saint Catherine Labora. The visit was followed by other apparitions, most notably on the 27th of November 1830, when Our Lady manifested the miraculous medal to Sister Catherine and asked her to create the medal. I picked out the dearer items. In all these shops I have picked out the more expensive items. I did this to show the top range in each case. Some items are much cheaper. Westminster Cathedral. Its full name is Metropolitan Cathedral of the Precious Blood of our Lord Jesus Christ. It is one of the biggest churches in England, and it is near Victoria Station in London. It was completed in 1903. A notice inside the door says it costs £5 a minute to maintain our beautiful cathedral. We need your help. Please donate here. A box is provided for the money. £5 a minute comes to over £2 million a year, and that is what it costs to maintain Westminster Cathedral. Plumbers, electricians and roofers have to be paid. Gas and electricity bills have to be paid. Your merchants are the great men of the earth. Great men means men of influence. Trade with the Catholic Church is big business. When we remember that it costs £2 million a year to run one cathedral, and we multiply that by hundreds of Catholic cathedrals all over the world, we see the huge sums of money that are involved. If we add the costs of building the cathedrals and churches, we are talking about vast sums of money. This money means trade. It means traders paid for their services by the church. It is the same with the traders who sell religious items to the church. That too is big business. There are two types of merchants who sell to the Catholic Church. First, there are the traders who sell religious items and building materials to the church. Second, there are the artists who sell their skills to the church. Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Jean Lorenzo Bernini, Guglielmo Marconi, Wolfgang Amadeus, Mozart and Augustus Welby Pugin all sold their skills to the church for a price, and some of them were among the greatest figures of all time. So the Catholic Church was always able to afford the best, because of course it had the resources to hire the best, the most skillful in any given era, the best painters, the best architects, the best sculptors, the best composers. It could afford the best traders. Many of its merchants were the great men of the earth. So that, in that sense then, indeed, some of the greatest men of the earth were part of the Catholic Church's merchants, and today we come on now.
And